And that's it. Maul Shadow Lord season 1 comes to an end. Now, these 2 episodes perfectly rounded off the show. Some surprises, some things we expected, but yeah, I'm gonna get into it. But before I do, this video is being recorded on May the 4th, so it's probably will go out on May 5th or May 6th, but May the 4th be with you, just as a late reminder. It's a possibility I could do a video about the whole season. However, just for now, I'm going to go on to these 2 episodes, and I might make a video on the whole season later on this week. So episode 9 starts with Crimson Dawn offering Maul a deal, which he doesn't seem too kind to Crimson Dawn, however, because they betrayed him. However, he ends up accepting the deal because they can give him an evacuation and transport him off Janix, which is what he wants most. He doesn't want to get caught by the Empire and killed. He'd rather come out of his life at the end of the day. Then we see Maul put visions in Devon's mind on where to meet. This scene was quite well done in my opinion, with Devon arguing with Daki again, and the Inquisitors showed up just about too late. Then we see them meet up, and we see them make a deal with Maul, because they all want to come off the planet alive, and they're all enemies of the Empire, so they're kind of forced to work together. And Lawson knows a way to the coordinates, and without really getting into too much Imperial action, which I'll get into now, there ends up being Imperials there, and Spybot jams their communications, and Maul goes on. Riley has a kind of his moment where he used stun through the whole episode. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I'm pretty sure he did through both episodes, but especially the first, he definitely only used stun, which I guess is a nice touch, something you don't always see. Then we see them go into the sewers, and there's this little device that can get over the sewers, but it's only about 2 at a time at most. Then we see this conversation between Lawson and Riley, which makes it seem as if it's like a goodbye, but it's not. It's quite a deep conversation, and the Inquisitors and some stormtroopers show up. I like this scene, however, there's some things I might get dissect, because this is definitely the talking point of episode 9. I think Maul should beat these even with a leg. I know Maul isn't the strongest person, and there was a lot of stormtroopers, but I think it's disarm one of them or something. I don't think he should just stalemate completely, however, especially with Demon and Daki. But I'm not too bothered. I don't think the power scaling was too bad. However, I just think when you see how they both got dealt with by Ahsoka's obviously above the level of Maul in my opinion because of her achievements. However, I would have liked Maul to at least disarm one of them. Yeah, and we see Spybot die. Oh, Master. No, I hated this scene. Well, this scene was great, but I loved Spybot throughout the whole thing. I thought he'd be fine, and he clearly wasn't fine. Then we see the other brother dies. So pretty much everyone died in these 2 episodes I'll get into. But yeah, this was quite upsetting when I seen Spybot die, because I thought he'd be fine. This is probably the biggest twist in my opinion, Spybot dying, because I think he was such a good character for a droid, great character, always helpful for Maul. Then we see Maul kind of tell Daki to run, and Daki does, and then Maul holds him off a bit longer. Now, talking about this maybe builds a bit of trust between Daki and Maul. However, stuff happens later, which I'll get into, and they all get away pretty much. For now, they get away, and we see them walking to a kind of forest, and I actually see a spoiler. I didn't know that it was releasing early. I thought it was releasing at 8 AM UK time. However, apparently it released at midnight, and I seen this scene. Well, I actually didn't see this scene exactly. I knew Vader was going to be in episode 10 at the start of it. However, I didn't know how he was going to enter. And I seen the forest, and I thought Vader's going to show up here. But if I didn't know that, I probably would have thought it was like a creature that killed Rook. And it was an insane, or you'd have to say, like, Vader is one of the only people in Star Wars that I don't mind when people say if they have all that, because they do overdo it sometimes, I guess you could say. But yeah, that was the end for episode 9. overall great episode, great pacing, and we see quite a bit of character development between Daki and Maul, especially Riley. And then we see episode 10. Episode 10. Now I'm going to get into this. This was an amazing episode. Obviously, we know how it's going to start. Maul, Devon, Daki dueling Vader while the others escape, and they don't really meet up again as Warden together, pretty much. Yeah, they managed to escape from Vader once, the first time, which Maul saves Daki, I'm pretty sure, in this scene. And then Daki saves Maul at a point. No, Devon saved Maul, sorry. And then that was pretty much all for this. We had them running and Vader trying to catch up. I'm pretty sure it was, I can't remember who it was. I think it was, it might have been all of them who just tried to cave the ceiling in. I think it was all three of them. Or it might have been Vader. I don't know, actually. I might need to go watch that back. But all the ceiling caved in, and then Vader kind of wasn't really there anymore. Then we see Devon and Daki splitting up, Devon trying to find the others, which never happened. And then we see Vader showing up dramatically again. I mean, that one was very surprising. No one expected that, I'll tell you that. And then we see them two engage in a duel, and then we see Devon having to 2v1 Marak and I think the 11th Inquisitor, which we know both of their fates, so maybe that takes away from it. However, I think it does make Ahsoka and Rebels better, just knowing that these aren't bombs and Ahsoka actually, and not Rebels, sorry, Tales of the Jedi, and we know that these aren't just bombs. And then it cuts to the group, and the Empire are actually at the extraction point. It managed to escape, and yeah, I'll get into a bit more about this scene later, the future scenes, because this all happened very quick and it kept splitting, cutting from each other to the other group. Now, what surprised me the most is Daki actually is powerful, which we didn't really see that against Maul, which I don't know, maybe a bit of power balancing. However, Marak is bested by him, and yeah, I just want to get into that before I speak about the other group. I think this deserves its own little section. I did not expect Daki to best someone, personally. We didn't see him do much against Maul. I mean, he hits his leg, and that's obviously cost Maul everything. Now we cut back to the group, and I'm just going to say Vario's and Lawson's group for now, and they hide out. They come up with a plan that Vario was going to be a distraction, and this works very well because they managed to get on the gun and take the ship down, and Riley ended up saving Lawson, I guess you could say, which was very nice, a nice touch. And I haven't got much to say for this scene. It was a great scene. Every scene and character used to lose Spy Boss, not seeing Spy Boss all episode kind of hurt me a bit inside. Now I'm going to get into a talking point. Did Maul betray Daki? In my opinion, yes. I think Maul realises that Daki's the reason why his leg isn't functioning, maybe, and he can't fight like this. Maybe you could argue Maul had no choice. However, to see what Daki's done for Maul, I feel like it was showing that Maul is evil at the end of the day. He's not a good guy. He's not a good character. This shows Maul's character perfectly, in my opinion, to be honest. And we see, obviously, Daki dying to Vader, which wasn't really surprising. I thought Daki was going to die. I thought it was probably the best. I liked Daki a lot, and I'm sad to see that he died. And obviously, Devon sees this, and while she's having a cut off in her duel, and we seen her hatred come out when she was like, I want to kill all of them, and they ended up escaping. And I've got one more point to talk about the other lot. I'm just going to put these in the same segment. Lawson ended up sacrificing himself for 2 Boots, and Riley, they knew he was going to sacrifice himself when he said this, when he told 2 Boots, and Riley, can't remember the exact words, he told Riley to find his mother, and he told 2 Boots to make sure he gets to his mother or something. And we see Lawson die, which I'm not too surprised about. I mean, they took risks. You can't say they didn't take risks by killing a lot of the characters in this final episode and feeling like it means something. However, does pay me mainly. I mean, Rook was sad. Both the Zabrak brothers was sad. Spybot was the worst in my opinion, and Daki and Lawson were really sad as well. But it makes the show better at the end of the day. And the writer's got to do what the writer's got to do to make people happy and take big risks. Then we see Maul say he's gonna carry out his part of the deal, which was to kill, I'm pretty sure, the leader of Crimson Dawn. And then we see Devin accepts to be trained. Now, personally, I thought at one point this wasn't going to happen unless Bucky dies. I thought if Daki stays alive, there's no chance. Obviously, Daki died to Vader. However, I feel like this would possibly the big for season 2. I don't think this changes too much about season 1, but now that Devin has that want for revengeance and to get revenge on Vader and the Empire. However, we don't truly know how strong she is. I'm not sure how old she is and how many years she's been training the Force for. You would presume, being a Jedi, she's been training since birth. However, we don't know her age. We don't know what her true potential is. Maul clearly sees something in her, and Maul arguably is happy, even though all the deaths have happened, that Devin's by his side. Obviously, he's had to lose Rook, had to lose the 2 Zabraks, and a lot more of the crew, but I don't think Maul really cares for them too much. Obviously loses Spybot, and we see Devin's anger really come out after Daki's death, which actually gives her a reason to turn, which I'm glad they did, and not like she just turns for the sake of it. She's not exactly dark side yet, but we see a lot of the characteristics from going from light to dark, and probably in season 2. I don't know if she'll stay dark forever. However, I think there will be a period of time in season 2 when Devin is this dark side character. I think she might switch back to the light. I think they could do something with that. I don't think she'll be a dark side character ever, but who knows. Yeah, that's all I've got to say for this last part. I'm just going to get in my final thoughts now. Now, I'm going to go into these 2 episodes in my final thoughts. I might speak about a bit about the whole season and my thoughts on it. However, I don't want to speak too much on that because I might make a video on it sometime this week. However, I thought these 2 episodes were amazing again. I don't think this season really had a bad episode. I mean, maybe you could say some were a bit slow and Maul really wasn't the main character sometimes. However, I think the last 2 episodes show that Maul is the real character, and Maul isn't exactly all powerful as he's kind of been hyped up to a bit, you could say. I mean, I know he got beat by the Inquisitors, however, he had severe leg problems, which he didn't have as much in this episode, I would say. However, it did make him run away from Maul, leaving Daki, which I thought Daki might have been able to escape and just run away. However, that's not the case. He died, and some of the deaths really will probably stay in some of the community a bit, like, I don't know, like some of the clone deaths did, like Padme's death did, and so many other characters. And yeah, I thought this was the perfect way to end the season, arguably. Maybe a bit of power balancing, which I've went into. I think Maul is more powerful maybe than what they've made, but I think Maul is more powerful than what they've given him credit for. However, when it duels Vader in a 1v1, I think he should get bested as quick as Daki did, really. I mean, especially with his leg not properly functioning, I don't think Vader should best Maul that easily. No, shouldn't best Maul that easily. However, they're going to do what they're going to do. That entertainment and storyline, plotline. However, I just feel like the power balancing in Star Wars isn't the best. That's probably the thing I'll criticize the most in these 2, and this season as a whole, actually, because we see Maul and Devin look like they're just holding up to, probably besting a little bit in, what was it, episode 6, chapter 6, sorry. And then we see here Devin is 1v2ing the 11th brother, and I think that's his name, and Marak, which doesn't make much sense when we see Devin completely struggling against Marak earlier. However, I don't know, I guess a bit of character development. I mean, she hasn't really been training the Force much since then. She's been in a couple of duels. However, I just power balancing didn't make too much sense. That's my main critique from the whole season. And Daki seemed to really struggle against Maul, but then he was the only one that bested an Inquisitor as a whole. Maybe you could see Devon and Maul bested Merc when they were on the train. However, I think it's a bit harsh on him to say that he was bested there. And yeah, I think this was a long video, but that's all I've got to say. I'm pretty sure this will be over 15 minutes. However, I'm not too sure. If you want to get in the comments and say if you want a whole season review, which I probably will make, which is why I haven't talked too much about the season as a whole. However, it's not a guarantee yet. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.